All right, so officially welcome to this month's Awaken Your Life info session. I'm going to try and run these a couple times between now and when the program kicks off. And I'm hoping, Marcia, can you hear me? I would hate to. Okay, good. You're all right. Awesome. We figured it out. So just telling Elle that
I'm terrible.
It's so good to see your face. It's been so long.
I look awful on camera.
You do not look awful on camera. Everyone feels that way.
Yes.
It's weird being on camera. Yeah. Yes. But I'm so glad you're here, and we'll spend the next hour. We'll do a little bit of coaching. We'll do some journal writing if you guys are up for it. We'll talk about the program, and then I will spend a good 20 minutes just going over all the logistics because there's a lot that goes into this program, and I want to make sure that I cover all of that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys if that's okay with you. So grab out a journal, actually, or just a piece of paper you can write with. And I want you to write down what the word pilgrimage means to you. So, and I'm going to use this chat box on the right for anyone who pops in. So what does, this is just what does the word pilgrimage mean to you? Or have you ever even thought about it? We'll just spend a few minutes on that. All right, give that just another 30 seconds or so. Right below it, I want you to answer, what does the word transformation mean to you? You can also think of it like what has transformation done for you in your life? And I just saw Angie pop in. Welcome, Angie. Thanks for joining us. Angie is one of my current students, so I'm glad you're here.
I cannot hear you guys.
We can hear you.
Oh. Oh, hi.
Hi. So we're just journaling on some quick overview on the word pilgrimage and the word transformation.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. And then last, I want you to answer, what about this program interests you? In essence, why did you show up today?
Because you're doing it.
It's a good answer, Marcia.
Okay.
I'll take that.
What does this program, say that again.
What about this program interests you?
About.
Give that just another minute and then grab a sip of tea. All right, go ahead and wrap that up. So I would love to hear from both of you if you're open to sharing, since it's a pretty small group. What did you write down?
People?
There's only 3 here today. Yep, I had a few more register, but they don't always attend. So yeah. So why don't we start with Elle, if that's all right with you. What did you write for pilgrimage and transformation? What do those things mean to you?
Well, they're both really closely related for me. Like under pilgrimage, I wrote a journey, a transformation,
Yeah.
a crossing, starting at one place and then landing in another, a deep inner lesson. And it makes me think of Cheryl Strayed's Wild, like that whole pilgrimage of, working through lots of inner work. And then transformation. In the past, when I have done this kind of work, it's brought me into a different way of seeing and being. And so that's really exciting when you can allow yourself to just like open up to change. Usually you find just something really beautiful is waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love your definition of pilgrimage because I know for me also, I mean, and pilgrimages are traditionally very physical, right? There's some kind of physical exertion on the idea that you're going to have this internal shift, this internal revelation, if you will. So I love that that's what you're down because I feel very similarly. That's why I use that theme as a sort of the underbelly for the entire program.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. How about you, Marcia? What did you come up with?
I said that it was an unknown journey and new information and ways of rethinking myself and where I am. And also a time of quiet introspection.
Yeah, that sounds yummy. I want all of those things. And tell me about transformation. I know you've had ups and downs with this word in your life, but what does it come to mean to you?
Are you talking to me?
I am, yes.
Oh, okay. Transformation, new thoughts and ideas that can help growth and my going forward. And that's that. Okay. And I was also thinking about when you travel, when I travel, and I travel by myself, that transformation is very important when you are going to new places that you haven't been, and you need to have that strength.
Yeah, that's a great reflection. I totally agree. It's one of the reasons we built retreats into the program so that I could take people out of their normal everyday environment and reflect on their life from outside of their daily living.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's hugely, great. So tell me, either of you, what interests you about the program in general? And if you have any questions that I need to make sure I answer in our time today.
Okay. I'm okay. You'll have to forgive me because when I signed up for this, I was a little loopy. Well, I had fallen. I told you that.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I'm not connecting. I'm connecting better, but it was like, I'm not quite sure what I was reading when I read about the program, but it really spoke to me. I just want to hear about growth and change and the ways you do it and how it helps. And after I fell, I'm kind of and sat for like 2 months in quiet and didn't go out a lot at all, really, except to the doctor. Feel like I'm in a new mode with my brain process. I want to be a lot more introspective and kind of run through my life and get all the boogeymen out.
Clear the closets. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And so the program is really designed to teach you how to do the work that I do So that may not be the right fit for you, but today will give you great insight also into how I work, because I'm gonna walk you through what I teach people, because that's what I do.
Okay,
so you may find that you just want to work one-on-one, or maybe we do a private retreat or something instead of the full enchilada. But yeah, stay on the line, because I think you'll get a lot out of what I share.
I will.
Cool. Great. Thanks. How about you, Elle?
Yeah, what interests me is, like Marcia said, you, Andrea. I was really taken with you when I first met you at the 24/7, and have just been following quietly ever since. And I love how heart-centered you are, and how and raw and available and emotionally present you are. And so that's drawing me to this. Also, the in-person retreats are huge. I feel like I get a lot more out of just being around people than a program that is just fully online. And I love to see the smallness of the group, and that intimacy is really refreshing.
Cool.
And for today, I'm just trying to figure out if it's the right fit, for my business, making sure it fits with the health coaching aspect of what I do. And making sure we, along with the pilgrimage and all of that I love, also learning the tools and how to use them and how to build the business.
Yeah, the both and. Yes, I totally agree. Well, let me officially introduce Angie down here in my right corner. I don't know where she is on your screen. Angie is in the current cohort. So she's one of my 6 current students in the program. And she signed up, I think, with just weeks before we were starting, or it was like very close to the end of the cutoff. And she's like, I want in, and she slipped in. And I don't know if she fully knew what she was getting herself into, but so she's here to answer, I'll leave some space. She's been so gracious to pop in today and answer any questions, and also fill in any gaps that I might leave out, because even though I'm facilitating the program and I'm in it with you guys, and I'm on the retreats and I'm teaching every week, I'm still holding that, space, and I'm not in it with you. So she's going to be a great source for, okay, but what are you actually getting out of it? So am I delivering on the things that I said I would deliver on? It's a 12-month program, so there's a lot to cover. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to take you through just some of the meta logistics of it, and then we're going to slowly build into the more technical logistics of how it looks. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see stuff for yourself as we walk through it. So bear with me as I move into that mode real quickly.
What did you call it? Meta logistics?
Meta, looking like the big picture logistics. So a big picture overview, and then we'll come into like actual dates and costs and where are you going and what are you doing when we get there and things like that. Yeah. So now you guys can see my screen. I'm guessing you can see a big calendar. Is that what it looks like? So I'm going to actually move over here to the website, and I'm just going to move this. Bear with me. Okay. I'm just going to leave it like that. And can you guys see this little bar that I'm pointing to? Probably not, that says like stop video and mute and all of that stuff. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way so you guys can't see that. So you can just see my screen. Oh, the joys of technology. So this is what's included in the program. It is a 12-month program, and it does go from November 1 until essentially October 31st. In that 12 months, we are doing 200 hours of curriculum and intensive-based work. I designed the program to answer two callings that I was having. One was, I love immersive coaching work. I absolutely love taking people on retreat, doing breakthrough work, sitting with them for more than 30 days of coaching, but to actually watch someone grow over an entire year. I love doing small group work. So this program is minimum of 6 people, maximum of 8. So it's a very small program. Most coaching programs will pack 15, 20, 40, 50, 60 people into a training. And that's powerful, but this is something I think that's a little bit more, a little different, if you will. So you get that one-on-one time with each student and also with myself. I originally designed it just as a coaching program. So it was just internal introspective work for the individual. But as I started writing the curriculum, which we're going to go over in a moment, I realized that there was an opportunity inside of facilitating the work to also teach the work at the same time, and to have my students and clients come out the other side vetted and certified in the very processes that I've adopted over the last 15, 20 years. So that's what I did. I decided to blend the two. So what you see here is an overview, and then we're going to go into more detail. So in the 200 hours, and I borrowed the 200 hours from yoga. I think that most coach training and transformational training programs are extremely underrated as far as the amount of education that they're giving you. I think my first coach training was 40 hours. The next one was, I think, 25. And then I slowly kept layering and layering. So it took me a long time to get to 200 hours. And I wish at the time I had had a more intensive experience, but that's me. And I like to immerse myself in the work. So if you don't like to immerse yourself, this isn't for you, because it's a lot of time and energy. So the basis of the model is called the 4 ways, and we look at mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual systems. It is a coaching intensive, so you're not just learning the work, you're also being coached through the work, and I'll talk about what that means. It is a coach training. This was actually not initially in the original outline about a year and a half ago, and it came to my attention that this needed to be a part of it. So right from day one, we're learning coach skills. Most of the people in the program had some experience of coaching either as a client or as a coach, and they came to tighten up their skills and add in some more dynamics. But we do look at what does it mean to facilitate transformation. So when we're doing these top 3 things right here, the 4 ways, the coaching intensive, and the coach training, we're layering in the 4 ways in both of these. So you're not only getting coached in all 4 systems, you're also going to learn how to facilitate transformation in all 4 systems. We are going to look at neuroscience and human dynamics. So we're not just looking at basics of how to forward a client and how to sit in self-inquiry. We're also going to look at things like, how does the brain look at and interpret its environment? How do we handle those things that we perceive as real threats? How do we interpret information? How do we process data? How does our sensory system affect our choices and habits and change? And we go through all those human dynamic systems as well. Facilitation. So I'm also going to teach you how to facilitate. So it's not just being a student, but it's also learning how to facilitate change. And at the very end of the program, you are asked and you're required to teach a 90-minute practicum. And Angie can maybe talk in a moment about how she's working on that. She's got some great ideas. But at the very end of the program, I basically ask you to take the entire year, everything you've learned about yourself and what you've learned about transformational facilitation through the program, and you create a 90-minute teaching that you facilitate at our final retreat for the students and myself. And that's part of your certification. Self-exploration. There is no way to go through this program without deep self-inquiry. And that is something that is just by nature of the way that it's designed. So we use tools like meditation, hypnotherapy, breath work, pranayama, journal writing, partner coaching, semi-private coaching with me, not only throughout the weeks, but also on retreat. Because those retreats are 6 days, and that's where you are mostly doing the work on the self. And then the weekly trainings are where you're learning how to facilitate that work with others. And then I've built in business mentorship. So you have total access to me and how I run my business. I'll mentor you in how to facilitate and integrate this work into your own business if you have one. Some people, I have 2 people in the program right now, one who's trying to get his business off the ground and one who really did this program completely for herself and doesn't want to work with clients, and she's getting all the skills but doesn't want to launch a business, and that's totally fine. You're not required to, but if you have a private practice or want to increase your success, then that's something I will support you through. And then practicum. You're not just going to do the 90-minute teaching at the end. You're also going to work with a client throughout the process. You're also going to coach each other in class. I think it's like every 3 to 4 classes, we do a full 90-minute practice round where you're coaching each other. Excuse me. And you're also having me take a peek at that. One second, guys. I got a little tickle. We'll see if that subsides. Oh, those are the worst. So you're also going to coach each other, and I'm going to get to witness that, as it were. So I'm going to pause here because I feel this coming on, and I can't talk. So if you guys have any questions before we move on, please raise your hand and or pop it in the chat box.
And I'm happy to answer any questions while she's coughing.
Yay, when your students come to the rescue. Yeah, so I'll pause you for a second. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
I don't have any questions, but I am fascinated by this, but obviously you know that I don't have a business.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I actually didn't know that I was going into it. I really did mostly go into this for a personal pilgrimage myself, more than because I thought I would start a business from it. But it was pretty obvious pretty quickly that I knew that this is the kind of stuff I've been studying for years and the kind of stuff that I'm passionate about, and decided like, yeah, okay, never mind. I do want to do a business with this. And so I'm working on launching my own coaching sort of transformational work here in the next month or two.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie. Yeah. And like I said, Marcia, this might not be the right fit for you, but business is not a requirement of the program. I just happen to mentor a fair amount of practitioners who want to have full-time businesses. And so it was an easy addition for me to add into the program.
I don't know all the correct names for all the tools.
Yeah.
But a lot of other sort of coaching programs that I've looked into, have like a list of things they teach you that I'm guessing that is just pretty standard, because the more you look at them, the more they're like on every coaching training site.
Yep.
So are those, I guess they're really important because everyone teaches them, and you include those, and if you don't, why?
I do include them. They are basic. And the reason that they're the same everywhere is that in order for a school to be accredited by the ICF, which is the International Coach Federation, they have to fit its standardized format. Otherwise, how would they know if a training program was vetted under their guidelines?
Sure.
So I am not accredited by the ICF because in order to be accredited, I would have to forego 90% of my program. And so I made the decision to take and extract what is very foundational about coaching. So active listening, intuitive listening, powerful questions, some of the human development models, container setting, safety and guidelines, ethics and practicum, and build that right into the program. That's actually the bulk of our first retreat. And then the stuff that I don't include is some of the, let me think, because I did several of those programs. There's some development models I don't get into, not because they're not worth teaching, but it just, I take it in a slightly different direction. So the ICF doesn't encourage that coaches work in the emotional system or in the physical system or in the spiritual system. And they're primarily, and that's totally okay, because most coaches are vetted to work on taking a client from where they are and then helping to move them forward. And their trainings are very effective for that. I just found that in my coach practice, and it's been, 13 years of doing this, that everyone is where they are because of where they've come from. So if I can't go into your past and into your stories and narratives and traumas and history and family dynamics and those types of things, then we're going to hit roadblock after roadblock. And there are a lot of coaches who would prefer to spend their time in strategizing and plan making. It's one form of coaching. I prefer to do really introspective personal work. That's just what I love. So that's why I built it the way that I did. So yes, I built it in, and yes, it's important. And it also it misses something for me. It's not the full picture. Yeah, and that's actually a great segue. Let's look at the curriculum, if that would be helpful to you. So you get this book. I have it here, but because I can't hand this through the computer. So this is your curriculum book. And you also get a digital copy like the one that you see here. And I have divided the content into the 4 ways. So you have right here, what is the way? So we're looking at this whole section right here, L, is all of your, it's all of your coach basics. And then we look at mental models, neuroscience, emotional models, spiritual systems, and physical systems. So that's the entire program. The way that I break it up, and Angie can help fill in some gaps if I'm missing anything here. This is the entire program. And let me make sure you can see all of that. So I'm going to close this for a second. Can you guys see all of that?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so right here, we start on November 1st. And the first week, we're just looking at very basic stuff, meeting in the moment, setting containers, looking at a couple processes like journal therapy. And then we look at, again, that word meta. We look at transformational coaching from an overarching view, and then we're going to break it down as we get into the program. The very first retreat, we go on retreat 2 weeks after we start. So we dive right into the work by putting you guys in that immersive environment together. We start with the way of the mind, and this is all the topics we cover on retreat number 1, and that's about 44 hours worth over the 6 days. Then we move into content from November until April, and we look at the way of the heart. So these are all the topics in here that we look at during that section. We're looking at core negative emotions, gestalt, timeline therapy. We're looking through grief, trauma, boundaries, how to rewrite a story, things like that. Then we come back for our second retreat, end of April, early May. This is our way of the ground. This is our entire retreat on neuroscience. And Angie can attest to, we just got back from that retreat a couple months ago. I'm curious what you have to say about your experience with that, because it was super intense and really fun and a lot of information. I'm sure she can, yeah. And then we come back and we do more content calls from May until September. We're looking at the way part 2. This is where we look at the power of a dyad or partnership relationship. So we're building on the skills we started way back here. We're going to start to implement in here. So non-judgment, compassionate communication. How do we work with things like pausing, failures, forgiveness, acceptance, speaking your truth, things like that. And then we go to our final retreat, the Way of the Crown. This is our spiritual living retreat. And we start to look at some of these tools like meditation, visualization, life purpose, dharma, congruency, manifestation. But that's also where you do your student practicum. And that's a big chunk of the week as well. And then we come out of that retreat. Now, technically, that's your graduation retreat. So that's where you get your certification. That's where you get a great closing ceremony. But then we come back and we still have a few calls, which helps ease the transition, because those retreats are really quite communal. And my students come out pretty happy and sad at the same time because they miss each other. So we'll finish up with a few calls on the other side to make sure we can ease out of the year. So that's how the curriculum is divided up. And like I said, here in this book, it's all broken down for you. So each bit of content, and let me pull up the digital copy. Each bit of content is, not too long. Let me see if I can find a good example. So here's a great introduction to transformative coaching. It's only 2 pages. And then when we come together for class, I expand on it. So And I'll talk about those more detailed logistics in a moment. But so your reading is anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour a week. That would be a lot, I would say. And then any other assignments you give yourself. So I've recommended throughout the year, depending on the track or the path that the students are starting to fall in love with, additional resources to help meet them in their process. Angie, do you want to add anything about timing and all of the content that is required in the program?
You mean the content from the book specifically? Or
yeah. How has it been to get that in every week?
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely not more than 30 minutes because usually they're 2 to 4 pages. So it's less than that. And they're really condensed to the point. And then having that hour and a half together to just talk about it and like really dive deep into it and ask questions and stuff is just perfect. So
great. Yeah. And you also get this companion book. And this book basically breaks down each section, the reading required, and then you can take any notes. So you'll get this as well. And this tells you what page number it's on and when you have to have it done by. This is for the current year, so these dates don't line up. But so, and then you'll see in here, it'll say something like no required reading. Those are our practicum days. That's when we get to come together and practice or coach each other, or I'll coach, or I'll get to watch you guys support each other in that way as well.
Can I mention something, Andrea?
Absolutely. Go for it.
You mentioned how, you know, we do the 1.5 hour class every week, and then you do paired coaching, you know, with me and somebody else. But also, I don't know if you'll present this as an option in the beginning, but we have all partnered up with each other and have been offering coaching to each other every single week. So like Kate and I paired up, and we have a coaching call every single week just to support each other, because what we found was that we needed coaching also, you know, more than just once a week or once a month and in our class, but that we wanted really specific coaching just to support us in this whole journey. So that's been really fun because I think most everybody has found a partner to pair up with for the year.
I think it's great. Yeah, that's not something I built in, and I love that. And I'm not surprised the students take the initiative to go ahead and set that up. And I try to have an even number of students in the program so that can happen. As she mentioned, you'll get coached by me once a month in a semi-private setting. So you meet with me, and I partner you with one other person for the entire year. So you're working with that person ongoing for 12 months, but that you're also able to set up that accountability on the side. And I think that you guys have really gotten a lot out of that extra practice when you both know what you're learning inside the program.
Yeah, totally.
That's great. So let's look at our retreats. So this is one of the cornerstones of the program, and I think it's one of the primary reasons people join it. So our very first retreat is November 16th to the 21st. That is mid-November. We are going to Manzanita, Oregon, my favorite spot on the Oregon coast, and we're staying in the gorgeous historic Reed House. Included in the retreats is a private chef, and all accommodations are included. The only thing not included is getting there. I do believe for every single retreat, my students have easily found carpools, airport shuttles. They've been able to get themselves out there and back, so it hasn't been a problem. But other than that, everything is included. We are there for 5 nights and 6 days. It's 2 half days on either side. So we get there on the evening of the 16th, and we leave on the morning of the 21st. So we have 4 full days, and that includes 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, plenty of snacks, drinks, tea, coffee, lots of spaciousness because we do a couple morning sessions, we take a 2-hour break, and then we do a couple evening sessions, and then we usually do something fun like a movie night or a business happy hour, or they come up with other activities. I try to build an adventure or something fun into the week. November on the Oregon coast is usually cold, very, very cold, and windy and stormy, and there's a huge fireplace inside, which I think never was off the entire week. So there's something kind of fun about that. It's a very introspective week, and that's the way we kick off the program. Halfway, we head to Orcas Island. So this is the Chateau Nighthawk. Very interesting property. It is high above the tree line on Orcas. It looks over the entire sound. It's quite spectacular. Again, same private chef comes along, 6 days, 5 nights. Again, we do have to get ourselves there, but I found that we were able to all get on the ferry at the same time, get out to the islands. No one got stranded. That was a really fun way to transition to the retreat on the boat as well. And then our final retreat, if you can see over here, I'll pop this up here, is in Bend. So we go up into the mountains for the final retreat. We stay in this gorgeous place called the Lone Pine Lodge. And again, same chef, 6 days, 5 nights, 4 full days. That includes your practicum days. And we leave for that on September 23rd. And we come back the 28th. Those are our retreats. In between retreats, we meet every week, the first 3 weeks of the month. So we do a class on Thursdays from 3 to 4:30 in the afternoon. And I try to make them the first 3 weeks, and then we take a week off, or we take 2 weeks off if it's a 5-week month. And in that week off is when we do our coaching call. So that's when you would meet with myself and your partner for coaching. Anything you want to add to that, Angie, about those classes or the timing?
Or the retreats.
Anything you want to add about the retreats?
Just that they are ridiculous and just awesome. And I mean, I can say the very first retreat that I went on, I just felt awakened in every single way. It was like one of the best weeks I've had in years. So yeah, it feeds me on so many different levels. It's just, I can't even put words to it. It's so good. It's worth it for sure, just for the retreats.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's twist my arm to put 3 of them in an entire year, which is a crazy amount of logistics, but it is such a powerful and fun way to do the program. And so we do, content days. There's a lot of meditation. I'm adding yoga in. There's lots of ways to get nourished. You're not just there to learn, you're there to really integrate and experience. And I try to have the retreats in places where you can go for long walks and take care of yourself, and if you need to book a massage, if you need to get out of the house, but really you're there to dive into the work and get the most out of it. It is a lot of content, but we do a good job of fun ways to integrate and learn and partner and do a lot of breakout sessions and things like that. Awesome. So that is the most of the logistics. Here's another breakdown of it if that's helpful for you. So in those 200 hours, we'll just go line item by line item. So 3 6-day retreats. Again, everything is included. You just have to get yourself there. 3 90-minute group training sessions per month. So those 90-minute trainings every Thursday. And then 12 60-minute coaching calls with me with your partner, which I help select at the beginning of the program. This is something we're building in. You are going to have an AYL graduate help mentor you. Now, the mentorship is it's very casual. They'll be there to support. They'll still be inside of we have an online group that you get to be a part of where all your classes go, all your recordings, all the extra resources, and they'll be in there to support you. And you'll also be in contact with 1 or 2 of them throughout the program. So they're there to help ease you through, because I'm in a very different place. I'm teaching it, and we want you to have the option to also integrate it as you go. The entire workbook was recorded. So that's how I wrote it. I recorded it and then I transcribed it. And so I have over 50 of those audio trainings, and you get access to all of those if you're more audio than visual. That's helpful. We built in those practicum sessions throughout the year, and we also have the practicum at the very final retreat. You get the curriculum, and it's also it's hard to see in here, but there's also journaling pages throughout the book, lots of spots to take notes. So I tried to make this a very workable workbook and less of a textbook. So I don't think any of you guys have written in yours, but I encourage you to write. I know they're very pretty, so no one wants to write in them, but I encourage you to write in your book. It's worth it. We also have that online classroom. So we use something called Mighty Networks, which I use for another community called The Practice. But you're able to pop in there every week. I put announcements. I put all of your class recordings. We meet on Zoom, so they're recorded. So you're able to rewatch your classes whenever you need to. You are allowed to miss classes so long as you make them up on your own time. I do ask that you attend the entirety of all 3 retreats. So if you're unable to make a retreat or part of a retreat, that is non-negotiable because it is such a cornerstone of the entire program. We do have a very small community, like I said, 6 to 8 students maximum. And I bring in guest teachers throughout the year, people who can speak on different topics, more people who are more vetted in some of the things. Like we just had someone who teaches on non-judgment and compassionate communication come in and teach an entire class on it. So I try to bring people in throughout the year that can help support the process as well. And then you also get unlimited access to me. So you can email me, text me, call me, book extra sessions. I don't know how many times I have been there for each of the students. Angie, I know that on occasion you'll email me and big questions, things that just feel like they're coming up personally. I've popped onto calls with students throughout the year. You have as much support as I can possibly give you. And then at the end, you get that 200-hour certification. The only thing required is full attendance of all 200 hours, or you having made up any hours that you missed by rewatching those classes. So that's all the little details of what's included in the program. Any questions about the logistics from anybody? Yeah, Elle.
Are there any other additional resources that we need to plan on purchasing?
That's a good question. Not that I can think of. Angie, did I have you guys purchase? I don't think I did. I try to make it as easy as possible. So like I said, I'll recommend books and resources if you start to say, I'm really fascinated in this aspect specifically, then I can send you in that direction, but nothing up front.
Okay.
Yeah. You will need access to a computer, and you will need the book, and you get the book at the first retreat, and you need a way to get there. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions? Awesome. So let's talk about tuition real quick. So scroll down here. And again, I think I popped it up here actually. This is all on the website, so nothing's hidden. You're welcome to take a look at this. I do ask for a $1,500 deposit to get into the program. I do hold that as a non-refundable deposit because there's so few spots in the program. I do have one person already enrolled, so there's five left, up to 7. It does mean I have to enroll earlier than later. So that is a holding deposit. As a thank you for you guys showing up today, and I love to extend opportunities whenever I can, I'm more than happy to take $500 off that deposit if you apply by Friday. And I'm going to give you the link to apply because it's super easy. I used to have it as a mail-in application, and now it's all online to make that simple for you. But I will still apply the full $1,500 towards the overall cost of the program. So you'll see here is what's left over. I have 4 different installment options. I did add in this new one right here. So if you want to pay less than $1,000 a month, it does mean you pay for 15 months instead of 12, but it gives you the option to have a better payment plan. So we have 4 payment plans. Other than this first one, the rest of these are not due until the 1st of November. So after you pay your deposit, you have till November 1st to decide how you want to pay. And once you're in an installment plan, I do ask that you stay within it. But I've had a couple students who were halfway through and asked if they could pay in full for the remainder. So I'm happy to work with anyone on that as well. So that's tuition. And like I said, it's on the website. And let me grab that link for you guys. If you just click on one of these buttons, it'll take you to this type form. And what I'll do is I'll just pop into the chat. And so there's the type form right there. So you're welcome to pop in there once you hit start. And there's about 10 or 12 questions. I think I would leave 30 minutes to fill in the application. Once the application is filled, I will review it, and then I will connect with you for a private call to make sure it's really the right fit for you. Because the program is such a high investment of not just money, but time and energy, you have to travel. You know, I have a lot of moms in the program that to be away from their kids and their family. I want to make sure that you really are getting what you need and that this is the best fit for what you're looking for. So we'll have a conversation. At the end of the conversation, if we both agree that you're a good fit for the program, that's when you pay your deposit.
Andrea, I don't know if it would be helpful, but I think it would be interesting if you shared a little bit about what everybody does that's in the cohort right now, just to show the diverse background.
Absolutely.
Well,
why don't you introduce what you do first?
Okay.
Since you're live.
Yeah. Well, when I came into the program, I had just left preschool teaching, 9 months before that or something, to start a new festival. I'm up north of Seattle in Everett, Mill Creek area. So the festival is called the Kind Fest, and it's about spreading kindness and bringing together all the people, businesses, organizations, and leaders and artists who are already doing things to create a kinder world. So that's the one thing that I do that keeps me busy full time, at least most of the year. And then the other thing that I want to start now is life coaching. So that will maybe call it kindness coaching. I'm not sure how to tie those together, but
we're working on it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So that's what Angie does. There's a young woman in the program who lives in Houston, Texas, and she is in financial advising. She's the one who decided to do the program entirely for her own self development and to really spend a year on learning those processes. There's a man from Phoenix, Arizona, who is I would call him a shaman energy healer, but he's a really powerful coach, and he's done several other coach trainings, and he's done I guess it'd be an ND in naturopathic medicine. So he's integrating this coaching work with energy healing. There's a woman out of, I want to say St. Louis, although she's headed to Portland. That's one of the things I should asterisk about the program. Major life changes are not uncommon in this program. I've had 3 people make major decisions about their life as a catalyst from being in the program. That is something that can happen. I've had one person move, one person ended a engagement, another person is leaving her job. And this is not to say like this program has to clear out stuff, but if you were on the verge of something major in your life, this is a great way to get a ton of support around making that happen. So this particular woman is coming from St. Louis. She's now living potentially in Portland or in the Pacific Northwest. She has also done life coach training. She's a Reiki master and a yoga teacher. She mostly does coaching for highly sensitive people. There is a woman here from Portland who's a yoga teacher. She owns a yoga studio on Mount Tabor, and she's integrating this work into her private coaching or her private yoga work as well as her teacher training. So learning how to better facilitate inside of her own trainings. There is, oh my gosh, I am missing someone else from Portland.
Marley.
Yeah, Marley. So Marley is a transformational facilitator. She primarily is a speaker, and she runs something called Camp Yes for Women, which is the largest adult summer camp for women in the country. I think the only and largest. And so she's using this work to better facilitate transformational experiences with larger groups. So she's taking it and expanding it outward to larger populations. Did I get everyone? I think that's everyone. I hope so. Otherwise, someone's going to be really mad at me. Yeah, so those are my current students. And if you want to look up our chef, his name is Zach Mozzie. He is thefoodvendor.com.
Amazing food.
It's amazing food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
I am a strong believer in experiences are such a powerful catalyst for change, but also for positivity. And I've seen some of the most incredible things happen around a dinner table. And so I said to him, I don't want to just add food as like let's take a break and go eat, but we need to integrate food into the entire experience and make that a part of the process. And so every night there's these 3 and 4 course meals. We do community cookie night on each retreat, where we all spend an evening in the kitchen cooking. It's one of the most powerful bonding experiences. And again, this is how I like to run my business. I like it to feel like you're in my home. I want it to feel like you're cozying up in my office drinking a cup of tea. That's how I want the work to always feel. And that's why the retreats are run the way that they are. All right, we have 5 minutes to spare. Are there any questions I did not answer for you guys? And you can always email me if you think of them later. Yeah, Elva, you about to say something? Okay, awesome. All right, so Angie, thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate getting to have someone who's in the program share about her experience. Do you guys have any questions for Angie? I mean, she's here in the flesh and she's in it, so she's a better resource. And I can even plug my ears if you don't want me to hear.
Why did you choose this program, Angie?
I think for very similar reasons that you said. I had been following Andrea for a while. I had gone to Awaken Your Practice, which is the weekend. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's a weekend conference retreat. And I just love the way she works. And I knew that I'm a very sort of experiential learner as well. And I wanted to do something that was unlike anything I had done before. And I wanted to feel like I was a part of a community, and not just online, but like in person on video, for an entire year. So it's been really meaningful and powerful. And yeah, I'll never regret that.
Nice. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Angie.
And Andrea's, just amazing.
I try.
To be around
It's been a rough year in my life, and I have to tell you, like, my intuition dropped a bomb on me when I launched the program. And I created the program in January of 2017, long before so much transition came into my life. And I just feel so strongly that my intuition knew precisely, because I went on the first retreat just weeks after my mom passed. I went on the second retreat weeks before my dad passed. And it has been, I'm teaching and I'm coaching and I'm holding space, and I'm absolutely at the forefront of that. And I never let that waver. And to be in contact with this work in this way with such a small group at this time in my life, it's been my own pilgrimage, and that's not something that I had anticipated. And this program is definitely not for everyone. I'll be the first to say that. This is, like I said, it's a big investment on so many levels. And I am extremely proud of what we've created and what's in the content, but also what you get out of just being in contact with that part of the work for so long. So I'm excited to launch it again. All right. So use that link there in the chat box, or it's on my website. If you go to andrealita.com/life and scroll down, you can hit the apply button. All you have to do is apply by Friday in order to get that $500 off your deposit, even if we don't talk for a couple of weeks. If you have any questions, send them directly to me at andrea@andrealita.com. That is my personal email, and I will get back to you within 1 to 2 days. All right. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much for joining, and hopefully I'll see applications at the end of the week. All right. Take care. Thank you. Bye.